Welcome to Bridging the Gap. I'm your host, Derrion Henderson. Thanks so much for joining us. We're here for the final installment of our 4-part series of Bridging the Gap. This is the mind of the Black community. Of course, that is education. I have some special guests with me here today. Miss Florrie Cuttino, she went to the Myrtle Beach Colored School back in the day. I can't wait to hear exactly what she has to tell us. We also have senior Jadlyn Bland from Horry County Schools, and also Mr. John Sumter. He's also a senior at Horry County School. Thank you so much for joining us, y'all. We're gonna have a great conversation here, and also maybe a little small surprise, maybe at the end as well. Can't wait to have that too. First, I would just like to start off and just talk about the Myrtle Beach Colored School. As we know, it opened back in 1932. It served the Myrtle Beach community for more than 20 years. And Ms. Cuttino, you went to Myrtle Beach Colored School. I know you said it's a lot, trying to remember back then in the 1930s. Of course, you're 100 years old now. But from what you can remember, what can you remember from that time?
Well, when I was in school, we lived out in the country, a place called Pine Island, and I had a foster sister lived in Myrtle Beach. And at times, there was no such thing as getting a car to carry you where you walk, wherever you had to go.
Yeah.
And I would stay with her, and on the weekend, I would go home, but I'd walk back. That was 4 miles. Not sure can't walk a block. If you tell them anything about walking, you don't be talking to them because they're not walking.
Yeah.
But I would walk back to school by Monday morning, like that. And that's how I went to school. And we just had a good time. It was nice. We didn't have the things that people have of today because we didn't even have no cafeteria,
So what did y'all eat?
Well, later, they had a lady live across the street, and the man was named Reverend Orsi Bland, and his wife would fix soup. They would give them something big soup, and that's how they ate. That's how the eating was done, We didn't have no such thing as cooks coming in, cooking and all like that. We didn't have that. And that's how we did in our school. And then I went on to Myrtle Beach, and when we had a little school out in Pine Island, and when I finished there, you could come here at the 7th grade. When I came here to Myrtle Beach, and stayed with her and went to school. And then after finishing school there, I was out of school. I came back to adult school and finished right in this same building.
Wow.
That we're in now. That's the school that I was go to school in.
Was it the same teachers back then too? Or you had different teachers that had come through for the different grades, or the teachers was like teaching everything from 7th all the way up to adult school?
No, they had different teachers.
Okay.
For different grades. They had different teachers. And that's how it was. Everybody knew everybody. It wasn't like it is now. Nobody don't hardly know nobody.
Yeah.
It was just a good time. And that's about all I can say about the colored school.
So back then, we think of, small classrooms, small school buildings. What's the reality? Was it actually small classrooms and everything, or was it pretty reasonable?
It was reasonable. We got along good.
Yeah. So how many people was maybe in like a class, like maybe 10, 15, 20, or
no, it wasn't
the
that
whole
many.
neighborhood?
Wasn't that many.
Okay,
No.
okay.
No. In the lower grades it might have been, but in the upper grades it was just like 6, 7, people like that many,
And you just moved on to just the next grade, right?
That's right. That's how it was.
Gotcha. Was the curriculum hard? Was like the teachings? Like they have like after school programs, kind of how they have now, or it's pretty much you go to school, you go home.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right. You go home.
So was it a lot of walking back then too?
You had to walk. If you got nowhere, how you was going?
True.
I can remember when it didn't have but about 3 cars to Pine Island. The whole community.
Oh, wow. You said 4 miles?
4 miles.
4 miles.
And it didn't seem like nothing. We would walk over here to church and back.
Wow.
And the people here, everybody knew everybody. I can remember when everybody in Myrtle Beach knew everybody. And the school bus, you didn't have no such thing as a school bus. Not in them days. I mean, the blacks didn't have it. The whites had it, but the blacks didn't have no school bus.
And looking at school, how it is now, and how much school has changed, having school buses now, and school lunch, and recess, and all this, type of things. What kind of goes through your mind seeing it so different nowadays?
I just wonder why. But as you know, you have to change, but always change for better. That's how it is with me, the way I see it. Change, it's a big change. Because those places we couldn't go, things we couldn't do in school, like can do now, So that's how it was in the 30s.
Yeah. And it was a long time ago, but you also talk about...
Yeah, that's right.
It was a few years ago. but you also think about the time during like integration and things of that nature. If you can remember, how was it like back in that period of time when that was kind of happening?
I remember the first blacks that went to that school. It wasn't good for them for a while, They would they didn't treat them right at first, the scholars, they said they would stick pins in the seats and do all kind of things like that to them. Then later they changed and didn't do it. But to start with, they had a hard time, them children did, in high school, when they went to high school.
When all of that was happening, what was kind of going through your mind during that period of time, watching all of that happen?
Well, it was just a thing, you didn't do nothing but hope for better. And nothing you could do, nothing I could do, but wish for better. And it came, God will answer prayer,
Absolutely.
And if you pray and pray right, He'll answer.
Absolutely.
And there's people, that, when I started in school, I wasn't strong, in the Lord, nothing like that. But I knew it was going on. And I know it was taught, to begin with, that if you believe, it would happen. And it did happen.
Wow. That's amazing to hear. For the students who are here with us, thank you so much for joining us here too. What's your thoughts, just hearing a little bit of piece of that history from back then?
Honestly, it puts things into perspective. Like, things aren't always easy. I'm pretty sure anyone can attest to that, but it just really makes you think. Like, things used to be so much different than how they are right now. So many of the opportunities that I have and I can utilize right now to, even choosing what school I go to, those weren't even a thing to choose from. And honestly, I feel humbled. I couldn't imagine walking 4 miles to school every day.
Right. You probably drive to school now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's a total difference.
But
to put feet to pavement and walking.
But it makes me. I guess my issues with finding parking seem actually kind of a lot smaller than how they really are.
Yeah.
So.
And Jadlyn?
I think that, even hearing your stories, and I talked to my grandma, she grew up in a segregated era, and I hear all these stories about these elders, and I think that it attests to the fact that they're so important that we need to hear these stories, because I don't think I'd be as grateful for the education I'm able to get, or even just in general the opportunities I'm able to get, if I wasn't able to hear these stories and kind of try and live in their shoes in the limited capacity that I could.
Yeah, because you think about it back then, it was once again 1932 when the Myrtle Beach Colored School opened. It wasn't until 1966 that the first student was allowed to go to be enrolled into Horry County schools. That's a long time, and like Ms. Cuttino just said, then you got to go to school and worry about pens being in your seat and worry about all the people outside. A lot of places were protesting for y'all as students. Does that, I know you just said, it really puts into perspective, the issues that we deal with nowadays. It's like, oh my God, it's like, I can't find a parking spot. I don't even want to go to school no more, I missed the bus. I'm just staying home. That wasn't a thing. You talk about, rain and everything. It was put the pavement going there, right, Ms. Cuttino?
That's right.
For you, what kind of goes through your mind hearing that?
Honestly, it kind of reminds me a little bit about my dad, like when I was younger, okay, every time I said, oh, I don't want to do this, it was like, you know how hard I worked for education? I walked 4 miles through the snow, uphill, downhill, just so I could go to school. And honestly, when I was young, I was like, yeah, no way, you got on the school bus like everyone else. But honestly, it makes me realize how serious he was. I know things weren't, I guess, as segregated back when he was doing it, but things weren't always perfect for him either. Things were hard for him. He had to go through so much, and it makes me appreciate all the stuff he went through so that I could do what I'm doing now. So.
And I think when we talk about history too, like we were saying even before, you hear like, oh, the 1900s. It's like, you read books and it's like you think that's just so far away. Oh my God, 1800s, 1900s. And that was literally, I'm not saying it was yesterday, but it's close. It was something where, we still have Miss Cuttino here, 100 years old and still walking and still here and still telling her stories, but we still have someone here from that time. Jadlyn, what kind of goes through your mind as well, knowing how close that was,
So close. My mom was only born, I think, like 4 or 5 years after the first Black student was integrated into schools. And it's like, you think about it, like when I was little, you would hear in class and you would see pictures and they're all in black and white. And you think it's like so far past what you're going through now. But like thinking about it now, like I'm honestly not that far off from these segregated times and these hard times.
And you talk about the fun too. I kept hearing you saying a lot of fun was happening in like the schoolhouse back then. You mind sharing us a little bit of what that fun was?
Well, you see, one thing made it be so much fun. See, everybody knew everybody,
Yes.
and it was more love, But love now has gone ice cold.
Yeah.
But that's one thing. See, everybody knew everybody, and they would just do different things, And we just had a good time together,
Do you believe that line has went cold because of buses and because of, just the different, advancements that we've had to where it's like we don't have to in a way talk to each other, where it's like, we don't have to walk to school with each other anymore. So it's like, I just hop on the bus, go to school, get my education and go home. Do you think it's because of that? Or what do you think has kind of created that divide?
It's because everybody now have something, that they didn't have before. And some of them takes it, in the wrong way. I'm better than you because I have more than you,
Yeah.
They don't stick and pull together. Instead of pulling together, they pull down. Like crabs, they're in a bucket, they instead of helping each other, when they see what was happening to everybody, then everybody should have stayed on that level, but, they didn't. And so that's what caused a lot of turmoil,
And it sounds like a lot of it went to like dependability as well, right? I mean, if it's raining outside and everything of that nature, I don't want to walk, but we have to walk together,
That's right.
So it's better us walk together than
That's right.
both
You
of us
had
not to
to.
walk together, right?
That's right. That made a difference because everybody was together. When nobody running to the cars, getting in, ain't got time to talk. You didn't have nothing to do but talk and walk.
4 miles.
That's right.
You have a while to walk.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. So we talk about, we'd like to move on, just back to both of you all as well. We know you go to a special school within Horry County Schools, which is great. Tell us a little bit about your success. Start with you, Jadlyn.
So I have been able to take a lot of college classes, a lot of AP classes. Since my freshman year, I've been taking like Italian, and I specifically have a interest in like psychology. So I've been taking a lot of psychology, sociology, and stuff like that. And I've been able to get so much closer to like figuring out what I want to do in college, not even necessarily like getting towards what I want to do, but like a lot of people don't have the opportunity to even try out things before they go off to school, and they're just kind of figuring like it out by the time they're already paying for it. But I'm able to kind of feel it out while I'm still in high school.
So you have a few college acceptances already, right?
Yeah.
Too, right?
University of South Carolina Honors College, Clemson, and Coastal Carolina so far.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's amazing. So great to hear. What about you, John?
Well, I mean, he took the best answer. I mean, yeah, I guess I've also been using my opportunity while at Scholars Academy to, I guess figure out what I want to do. I figured out that not only that I love law, which I came in knowing, I actually learned that I kind of really like business. And that was an opportunity that I don't think I would have without Scholars Academy. So, I mean, yeah, I'm good at
Good at school. You gotta love it. And Ms. Cuttino, you talk about classes y'all had back then. I'm pretty sure it was math, reading, correct, things of that nature. Yeah. These brothers talking about Italian and all this. It just shows just how far schooling's gone, really, to like really teach you a lot of things and really put things into perspective, like learning business and things of that nature. What goes through your mind knowing just the opportunities that students have nowadays?
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Of course, I took math was my special when I was going to school, math and English. And I'm glad. When I go through my mind, I'm glad that they can do it now.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm pretty sure, like, just with that success, comes roadblocks, right? If y'all don't mind sharing, what are some of the things that, maybe some roadblocks that y'all deal with?
I think even going back to probably even like second grade when I first started doing like the Gifted and Talented program, a lot of the times it's hard to see yourself represented in like the honors spaces. I know like in middle school, there were only like, I think like 3 or 4 black people in our, like the entire school, and the school was mostly made up of African American and Hispanic people. Yeah. And it's kind of hard when you don't see people that are like you and like you see their success and you can kind of compare yourself to it. But like I didn't really have that except for like a few people, and there's like, you also lose that sense of community that you would have in your classes, and yeah, it's just kind of hard.
Kind of like what Ms. Cuttino was talking about, having that community there, because what we've learned through the years, that's really the foundation that you really stand on, that make learning fun, to make you want to like keep coming back for more. It's like, I learned how to read with my friend yesterday, or read this good book, so that's pretty cool. John?
I guess it's how having other people see you as gifted and talented. I mean, when I was back in second grade myself, I was trying to get into the gifted program. I read through like entire books that they were reading through, and instead of the teachers looking at me like they're proud of me, they looked at me confused. Yeah. They couldn't see me in the right way. My parents had to fight and fight and fight just for them to say, okay, fine, yeah, you read through it. But then sometimes, oh, I'm sorry, we lost your scores. So you can use the average scores though, and it makes it seem like the world around you refuses to see you as anything more than what your skin color is. Yeah. Major roadblock is all.
That's amazing to hear, because it puts into perspective, how far we've come, but also how far we have to go. When students are still dealing with issues like that within the class. Is there any questions that y'all particularly have for Ms. Cuttino while she's sitting here?
Yeah, Ms. Cuttino, I was wondering if when you were like first going to school, if you ever thought that there would be so much change in the future.
Did I ever think there'd be that many changes?
Yeah.
No, I didn't then.
John?
Senator Tim Scott actually said that education was the great equalizer. So I want to know if you've seen anything in your life that showed that to be true, how education can equalize things.
How education do what?
Made things more equal? Like leveled the playing field for everybody? Like do you believe that like over time it's essentially made it like more equal for African Americans to succeed with more education?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm pretty sure knowing all of that, it just puts everything into perspective. Is there any advice too that you would like to give to the students?
Yeah, but one thing I want to tell them to get all they can get because they need it, you know, in this world today. If there's anything they can do higher, reach for it.
Yeah.
And try to get it, you know. That's what I would love for them to do. I don't know them, but I would be happy to know that's what they did. That I didn't get, I want them to get it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ms. Cuttino, you just turned 100 years old, right? 100.
What?
You turned 100 years old back in September.
What happened?
You turned 100 years old, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So, of course, we wasn't around when you celebrated the 100th birthday, but we wanted to, all of us here at WMBF, to show our appreciation to you and to give you your flowers and also to give you a cake as well. So we have a cake and also some flowers for you as well.
Well, never dreamed of nothing like this. Just keep on giving.
Keep on giving, yes ma'am.
I cannot tell you all how much I appreciate this. But I am 100.
Yes.
They had a big celebration for me. I didn't know they was gonna have another.
Yeah, we need another one too.
I'm
So
telling you, that is beautiful.
yeah, so we
And
have
I
to make sure that you
thank
get your
all
flowers.
so much.
Yeah.
Give me my flowers.
Yes, ma'am, because you are deserving of them.
Yes.
You
so
are
that I
deserving
can
of
smell
them. You smell them?
And I can see the beauty they bring. Yes, and I love my flowers. Thank you all so much. Y'all don't know, I'm almost a faint here. Oh, my granddaughter didn't tell me nothing like that. She just kept telling me, about, could I come out here today? And I told her, one time she told me something, I said, I can't go there, and I got somebody coming here. Yeah, and so she, well, how about 1 o'clock? I said, well, maybe I can make it by 1. But Lord, I won't think about nothing. And she wouldn't tell me. Now, you know that wasn't right. She could have whispered and told me. But she didn't tell me one thing about this. Not all we want you to go. Be out there and talk about the whole school. I said, talk about the school, you know. But she didn't tell me nothing like this, children. But I sure do appreciate this, children.
No, that's from all of us at WMBF. We want to say thank you so much and send you a happy birthday as well. Of course, with the cake, we got to sing happy birthday, right? Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Miss Cuttino. Happy birthday to you. There we go. There we go. This is like this, but we got it. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
God, I didn't dream none of that.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cuttino. Thank you so much.
I thank you all. I thank you all. Because, you know, most time when a person get old, you know, people kind of throw them kind of in the corner like, you know, they don't bother with them and mess along with them, you see. But I have to say, on my 100th birthday, people have been so wonderful to me. And one lady said, well, it's not everybody time, you don't hardly ever hear about a person living to be 100 years old. I said, huh? That's what she said. But I sure thank you all people. The Lord knows I do. And I am surprised that she wouldn't even tell me nothing. That's the part I could come down. Well, I heard the people's out there waiting. They want you to talk something about those. I said to myself, the people's waiting. Who she talk? Yeah, come on. Come on now, you got to go up the steps. You got to go up the steps. And she could have easily said, they got a surprise for you. But she wouldn't say nothing.
No.
Just wouldn't even call me all day to show, you ready? I said, all morning, I said, she ain't called me. I said, she must be going today. She ain't called me. And now that's the truth. She ain't called me till she called, you ready?
You have with a cake and some flowers and all of that.
Yeah.
One last question for you. What's your advice? Being 100 years old, right? What's one piece of advice you want to give to not just students, but just for everyone out there, just being at your age?
Just to work and take advantage of what you make, and don't go reach higher than your hat. You know what that means, don't you?
Tell me.
You don't?
No, ma'am. Tell me.
All right. If something is worth $1,000, why would you try to go get it when you just need to get 100? See what I'm saying? Don't reach higher than your hat.
Yeah.
See? Always stay under your hat. But work and take care of what you make. But use it wisely. Because if you don't, you'll fall down. So my advice to you is don't reach higher than your hat.
That's the word. Thank you so much,
You got
Ms.
it?
Cuttino. Yes, ma'am.
All
yes,
right.
ma'am. I hear it loud. I hear it clear. Thank you all so much for being with us here today. And thank you for joining us for the 4-part series of Bridging the Gap. Again, you can find all of these on anywhere where you listen to your podcast and also on WMBFnews.com.